Scrawny Launders, what are you thinking for this one?
Yeah, I think Easy for Ence is a catchy tune, but we're going to get a dance going on Ancient that I hope MOUZ can step up with. It's curious that we get this contrast on the desk between, you know, these what are kind of lower ratings from MOUZ's CT side, but then obviously this is Ancient where the CT sides run rampant. So we'll see what MOUZ can do in this first half, right? I think that Kassad's expectations of Ence's CT side is very fair. It's strong across the board. It's strong across the map. There's no weak link, essentially. And we'll find out whether MOUZ have prepared something that can maybe identify a flaw. Madden, first player down. JDC, cracking heads, 3 kills already. Well. JDC coming out guns a-blazing. And with that Glock, just shreds everybody other than the dual Berettas for Ence. Snappy, Valda, anything here in this pistol? Or are they just going to sulk away?
They don't even want to give up kills with these two dualies. So this is a good first step for MOUZ because not that their pistol round win rate is low, but Ence is extremely high. They actually, in the 3 maps they played, won over 80% of their pistols. So I'm sure coming into this, they were hoping, leaving, you know, having this been picked, hoping they would just start off CT side really strong. So all about JDC on the push all the way to the back lanes. Beautiful shots from him. He was playing very well yesterday. I think if there was someone to call out, I think unfortunately Torji had a pretty bad series versus Outsiders. Something like 12 and then 7 kills in the 2 maps, where he's been inconsistent. He has high highs, but he also has low lows. And JDC, I think, despite not having like an amazing amount of kills, had so many impactful kills when they were trying to attempt that win versus Outsiders. So good to see him doing well.
Single-handedly bullying Norbert every single round. I think what's cool about that, if they can transition
Oh, you go by Norbert now?
Yeah. Getting shredded. Wonder who's in JDC's scope today. Who gets the fixation? And it's going to play this one quiet. 3 players on the B site. Scout in the hands of Sun Pius. That one is again towards caves. So they're hoping, of course, MOUZ will just start trickling in through the caves. They're going to take that scout to the chest if they try. And MOUZ very well capable of getting away from this. Now this is curious. They're going to smoke off Donut, indicating maybe something towards mid. We get a deep smoke that goes over top as well. So they're smoking off the B to CT rotate and pressing in through Red Room. Not something we see all of the time on Ancient, but obviously not the first to do it. It's just a nice little back pocket play that kind of screws up this setup, right? They were worried Scout will be completely countered out, never gets a chance at getting into the gunfight. And so MOUZ, perfect aggression, perfect positions.
Yeah,
I
really.
like that.
That was it. They made that very hard. I mean, that was a good HE. They made it very difficult with the first kill from Diha. And it seemed like from there was actually a chance that MOUZ could flip that on its head, but MOUZ were very good. And on T-sides again, I think they've just shown that they're dry running more than anybody else because their executions are almost flawless. They come back in low number situations. And funnily enough, you know, they put so much prep and clearly into their T-sides and trying to survive the CT meta that their CT sides are not quite as good as everyone else's. On Ancient, that creates kind of an interesting problem where, you know, you could get 6 rounds on T-side and still feel like you're going to win. But if they don't feel quite as confident, well, Ence also have very good T-sides in general, at least well thought out T-sides. So we'll see how well that translates when we move into the second half. But for now, just this scout carried forward into the next round, looking to get a little bit extra damage in, but solid start for MOUZ.
I just like that they kind of, you know, go to they just flip to page 50 of the playbook to pull out what is, you know, just versus scouts. In the
no kidding. Like a mid split to
A like
on
that comes
an
through,
anti-eco.
you know, maybe in overtime when you try to pull out something crazy.
Like,
but
why are you trying so hard, man?
so nerdy.
Oh, Jesus.
And this time Sun Pius, well, maybe that's why they avoided him in the previous round while they smoked off that B rotate. Because the moment he gets something to shoot at with that scout, it's Dexter's big head pop like a melon. The brain of MOUZ gone down. But so did the scout, so the trades are good for MOUZ, and they'll just stabilize for a second. Content to play out clocks. You know, I think this is a team that, again, because they're going through dry runs and defaults and execs, it's like never do they really feel kind of at odds with just being a little more patient. And that patience pays off. Exertion's going to catch Diha, trying to put his hands in the cookie jar, grab that scout back. And next up should be the follow-through into the B bomb site, which of course does have 2 of the CTs still here, but unarmored pistols. Would have had to been something magnificent from Madden. And yesterday on Nuke, when he was playing versus Vitality, I think that on that A site, we got a lot of these, as Harry and Hugo put it, kind of all or nothing moments from Madden. And I do kind of, you know, slot him into that category of player. That Deagle could have gotten 2 just as well as it could have just gotten nothing. And when the gun rounds get going, I think we'll see how many risks he decides to run tonight.
Yeah, I think Madden is very good at, he's very opportunistic, and I think that defines him as a player. Put in a lot of support positions, but can definitely do a lot more, and I think shows that he can be a very aggressive rifler and just understands when he needs to fly through and like try to take a trade. So that makes sense. Well, here's a nice shot from Sampaius. A great day yesterday. 35 kills and 25 kills in 2 maps versus Vitality. Pretty much his biggest performance of the year. Controlled the game, and I think, you know, I think Snappy called a great game. It was assisted by an unreal day from Sampaius as well. He was the star of the show. What a lineup.
Okay, Frozen, looking like his keyboard's stuck. But the smoke comes down on Donut, and MOUZ just gonna pick up the tempo. Valda keeping this one stuck in. Diha delivers 2 kills already. Valda's got himself another, and what do you know? It's a total shutdown from Ence, so guns surely make a difference, and I think that's that rock-solid CT side our analyst talked about.
Once in a while, no, more than once in a while, we're going to see full A execs come through that look similar to that. Of course, we have that running donut smoke to make sure no time is wasted on the entries from Frozen, but the rifles put themselves in pretty good spots. And this is also something else. Sometimes not having the op to try to stop these full A rushes actually makes more sense than putting op rifle or just op alone, where they can miss a shot and then lose the whole site. And that seems to be working out well as an adjustment for the CT side in an already CT-sided map.
Snappy floating inside of the caves. Frozen, not pressured here by utility, so he's finally gonna start adventuring around. He's got Torzy supporting him, giving those flashes over to Dexter. And Snappy tries to go ahead and apply a little bit of pressure here. Serves up a good distraction for Sampaius to post on an angle, but Torzy's gonna be on top box. Sampaius thinking about the possibility. Op the op. Oh, and Torzy's gonna win it. With that, B site seems like it's prime for the taking. Snappy's gonna slide into the deep corner. No rotation over yet. Diha with that other op actually fixates in middle. So MOUZ kind of very quiet off of that first pickup. Poor Snappy's already been spotted. It's Valda who eventually comes through, but the wallbang's gonna pressure Snappy. Sure, he hits the headshot, lets Valda clean up one with ease, and then we get this transition from MOUZ into middle once Diha has given up that angle. But he's not entirely gone. He's starting to be drawn back in, and if he's not careful, he's gonna make too much sound. This will be called out by Exertion easily, and we're gonna get a donut into A press. So there's a lot of layers so far to this round. Madden, let's see it. Again, the headshots there with the M4, but again, it is MOUZ to follow through, using every single second, every single rotation, and every single player to come through with frags. We've got MOUZ right back to winning ways.
Such a great attack, and that was even a situation where if JDC dies, still Diha is probably going to turn around and go support A. It's accelerated by the fact that the kill goes the way of the T's on the entry, but it looks like MOUZ have enough layers there that they win no matter what. So a very strong default, and I think that trade from Valda made it a little bit easier for Ence to try to get back into the game, but that was it pretty much. Snappy failed to win his trade. We had Madden in the site failed to win his trade. And that just made it a little bit too lopsided for the T side. MOUZ have a lot to be proud of so far in this game. A really, really good start. Another strong rifle round win. Bouncing back right after getting shut down on the rush.
If there's one thing with this, you know, let's call it an intriguing pick of a map, because I too would have expected Mirage in this series, and I thought it would be the starter. Very curious to see if we keep getting rounds like this where MOUZ are just, you know, milking moments through on rotations, keeping Ence's players away. Diha top middle. MOUZ quietly going to push through the B doors instead. The Sunpius versus Torzi duel. That's an interesting one because Torzi has been a little more quiet and because Sunpius just put up his best performance of the year. You know, if Sunpius can replicate yesterday's performance here tonight, then it's MOUZ without a critical piece of their winning formula. Dwindling utility here for Ence. 2 smokes left, 2 flashes on the play. Remember, Sunpius glass cannon and no kit either. So clearly this is the all-in from Ence. Or we've got a T side that's about to run rampant, and we know what happens. When your CT side looks weak, you switch to that second half. A little nervous.
They don't know Sabby was playing up close against that smoke. But they activate a lurk again, and Exertion, I mean, oh my God, what a kill. What a kill. They have to take this. They've got Donut open, no one holding the A site.
Maybe. Oh, I thought Diha could have brought one with him. That would have at least, you know, stagnated things on the support for MOUZ, but Ence, they're going to find nothing as of yet. Another op shot whizzes by. Torzi's looking to answer, but the big greens aren't succeeding on either end of this. And now that the bomb's been planted, we get this little bit of a push in from Exertion. A pressure applied, and Dexter, oh, he could just rack up the price tag. Slides in, a bunch of damage on the rotators away. Sunpius will get that ability to exit, and so he saves also himself and Madden. We've got MOUZ chopping down an A-site defense yet again.
You could call it a little lucky if you want to, but Exertion, I mean, he's clearly spamming the right side of Donut and trying to make sure that gets locked down. There's going to be all kinds of timings there. And I think the cool part is he could have just chilled and waited as a lurker, but if that smoke came up, he'd kind of have nowhere to go, right? He had to either fight forward in the first place or lurk back into the window room, but there was somebody behind him, and I think he felt like, well, I might as well show myself because they're going to find me right after the smoke is gone. And that makes the difference. So really well done once again for MOUZ to score this. Timing is ridiculous, but look how well that's lined up.
I rate Exertion's lineups really high, especially on Inferno for MOUZ too. Up in Banana, get him on the Arch side. You know, Arch lineup, that one's easy. The building's twice as high as Smokes. Donut?
Yeah, points of reference.
Yeah, there's nothing in Donut. Not when that thing's going down. Well, not when Smoke's in front of you. So that's S tier right there.
Not when that goddamn smoke there.
Yeah, you lose your points of reference.
This is gonna be they've gotta dig themselves out of a hole here. Which is a weird turn of phrase because why wouldn't you climb? Not much to go off of. But the op put some pressure on MOUZ to be a bit more careful. So maybe some space created here as they look for it.
Snappy, getting bold. And Frozen, it's beautiful. Insta headshot onto Snappy, takes one of the guns down. There's still that looming threat of Sunpius on his op. But if MOUZ kind of kick it up a notch and just follow through into the site, well, you've got little to hold you back. Madden, ooh, a robbery as he grabs that M4 off of Snappy's corpse. Diha, excellent USB spam damage, could set up Madden for something. Yes, Dexter kind of comes around that corner haphazardly. Gun not entirely out, and Madden, here we go. 2 kills in. This is that X Factor moment. JDC is going to try to bring it back with only 19 health. Madden going to peel away. Frozen stops him from the top of that ramp, and so the life on this one just drains from the face of Ence. Sunpius still lingering around, but that AWP far too important, so they'll throw Valdez CZ at maybe getting an exit and another gun, but holy hell, 6 rounds for MOUZ, 7 deep.
Yeah, great protocols right there to jump back into the site after losing their first 2 frags. You can't play the retake, you can't play the post plant on the T side from Banana, out in CT, in cave. It can just get smoked out way too easily. So I think that's where MOUZ just show just how prepared they are in almost every situation, even when it looks like they need to react. I feel like they kind of transition so smoothly that it's clearly been talked about. Right here, it became a very winnable situation for Ence.
Ence taking their second time out of this map, only 8 rounds deep, but you've got to stop this hemorrhaging. You know, because of like the questionable CT sides of MOUZ as of late, we think 6 rounds on Ancient would be enough for anybody to win a map. But, well, we'll wait.
If I'm MOUZ, I still hold my nerve. I think we can point to a couple of moments from their perspective that, oh, this is where the round fell apart. We just don't let this happen again. And then we go from there. They look back at being able to stop the A hold. That's nice. The actual deficit of rounds, like let's say they can tell themselves they end 9-6, that's also still okay. And a strong recovery in the end, just mentally, would be a good. And they've got a full buy once again. So I don't think all hope is lost here for MOUZ, or for Ence.
Valda, unbeknownst to the T's, he saw Dexter run across, and Dexter's just stuck. Look in the wrong direction. Ooh, Valda gonna get a couple kills. And when we go back to that total shutdown on the A site, the 1-round Ence win, remember Valda was a piece of that equation. It was him and Diha. So yet again, the Dane adding in some impact. We get Snappy off of lane, and so with the pause, we get Valda into the action. We get MOUZ, who tried to press hard into the opening mid-fight, and it costs them. Comfortable 5 players alive for Ence, as they just need to weed away Torzi and Frozen.
And I think if we talk about Sunpius as a core part of the reason that Ence won just off of sheer numbers yesterday versus Vitality, Valda was in that conversation as well. I mean, his aim looked great yesterday. And again, the story for him is replacing Spinks, extremely hard to do based on the stats that he was putting up for Ence earlier this year. But I think Snappy has shown that, like, in terms of activating pieces, he has an outstanding resume at the moment. I mean, did very well, and I thought for sure that this wouldn't be a roster that survived post-roster moves. But then, you know, in retrospect, it's like, well, it's no coincidence that Spinks kind of came out of nowhere and played with Snappy and played so damn well. And so to show that he could do it with another couple of players who always were promising but never really showed true superstar potential on the world stage, well, I think we have to start to kind of continuously talking about Snappy, and now he must be doing a lot in that department.
I always thought that it added nicely with Sunpius, because I think while half of the question is on can Snappy integrate him, it's also can Sunpius perform, you know, outside of an Iberian team. What's nice is that you look at the other pieces of Ence. You know, not only did Spinks come through and have to start speaking, you know, English in an international roster, but Madden has gone through that as well. Diha was a part of that process. Valda has been off into, you know, non-Danish projects too. So I never, you know.
Yeah, Valda's gone through hell and back. Some call it north.
Yeah, he did. And I think I was really worried when we first saw, you know, Ence's first event with this roster. Didn't meet any expectations. And, you know, fair to say, new project, always going to have some growing pains. But just because Ence had become a mainstay of so many tournaments, of course, with Spinks, it was worrisome, you know?
Yeah, this way.
But not to always build back.
This year was about building up the portfolio for Ence. Top placings, playoffs. The one thing that they were really missing was that trophy. And that's what kind of equalizes both of these teams. I think MOUZ in history, they don't make playoffs either. A lot of the majors, that was the big talking point on the desk. Ence have been making playoffs. That's something nice. But right now, MOUZ are ahead of them in terms of ranking. And, ooh, the slow approach on mid gets punished. Exertion is waiting for that push.
And last round, it was Valda bottom mid, then Snappy in.
That's the Furia smoke that's supposed to be intimidating to play off of.
But Frozen will be caught out over on lane, so sure enough, we've got MOUZ transitioning closer to the A site. With that player being caught outside B, though, we get this quick adjustment from Ence. They're going to throw Diha back towards top middle to support Valda so that he can keep it aggressive. And then it's just Sunpius and CT spawn. In a sense, it's a forfeiture of the A site. Sunpaya's heading elsewhere. A-site completely evacuated, and when those grenades rain down, it's going to have to be Ence to rotate back in with the retake. Sunpaya's at least going to be able to lock down Temple, you'd assume, but Dexter has the bomb. Oof, lucky to be alive as he takes that one. Drop to 18, Dia finds him through it, and now their smokes are fading. That little delay of Dexter getting into the corner means this isn't even a post plant, and yet the CTs are already breathing down MOUZ's neck, right back into the action. They never even gave them the space to get that bomb down.
Yeah, that bit of a mistake there from Dexter, of course, to cross it to Brokey without the bomb, or with the bomb in his possession. Outside of that, there's not a lot of teams that can do what Ence just did right there. Very clean retake. You see the lineups here are beautiful from Deha, recognizing the importance of smoke spams on this map to shut down crosses. Valda, of course, a very composed rifler in all situations. Coming out first peak, instant death. And they bring that back from a 4v4 where it feels like MOUZ, they really look forward to situations that go down to 4v4.
Sunpaya's.
Oh, yeah.
Clips frozen. Exertion in middle. He's been good for those out of nowhere frags.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot. It's 4v5, but they win kind of the top of cave. You know, the Opera has to fall back off of this, and they have mid control, or at least they're testing it.
Ooh, him versus Valda. Oh, Exertion ahead of the flash. Deha, nice support there. Exertion wasn't blind, but it's still 2 assists. Snappy, easy does it versus Torzi. And now it is just Dexter, the Australian in-game leader. Ooh, nice and clean. Drop Snappy first. AWP grabbed, but he's not going to be able to get anywhere to safety. Madden finishes this one, and Ence's rebound is very much alive.
Yes, very clean rounds. The 4 that they've won. Do they kill the money here for MOUZ? That's the question. We just look.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Okay.
4.9 on Frozen, everybody else under 4,000.
So they look like they've earned themselves a save for once. So yeah, I think from that point it was 6-1, but I think Ence, now that there haven't been any really ridiculous kills from MOUZ, they say some of their rotations, some of their spams, some of their setups have actually been pretty good, and they're starting to stabilize. Great match from Valda so far, I want to say.
Yes. Ooh. Snappy comes wide, 2 kills. M4 given over.
Really went wide with that M4, so it'll be picked up.
Swinging for the fences. Oh, nade. Poor Frozen. JDC is about to meet Madden.
He's trying to take the offiest angle of all time.
But JDC gives him the wiggle. And Madden's going to drop that smoke. Sunpaya's posted easy versus Dexter. Valda's now going to get aggressive as he continues to tear up kills. That M4, of course, offered by Snappy will net Frozen something. His 2nd in the round. He's got the bomb on his back. He's got a hope in this, but he doesn't have any Kevlar. The reality of the situation soon to sink in. And Ence's winning ways shall continue. Frozen trying to make them bite down on his bait. Smoke in his face. He finally commits, and that's where Madden drops him. So now only a 1-round difference. Of course, some damage already done. MOUZ, 6 rounds on that board, but I can't remember if it was Cassad or Mahone. Point being, they said, you know, even 6 rounds, we'll have to see that CT side first. That's where the questions still lie.
Yeah, definitely. It's a weird, unique conversation that has to do with this team in particular, which is like, listen, everyone can take a page out of the book when it comes to learning how to play T-sides, but now the easy part of the game is just not their specialty. So, well, we'll see what that means for the second half. And this veto could absolutely come down to Ancient, because it was a risk to go here.
Just one of those vetoes where I feel like we get the decider first. That's where my expectations lay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Ence have any big wins recently. They play Ancient, so it's not totally crazy. But the veto's hard just because MOUZ don't get to play Inferno. That's something that they've been championing throughout the Challenger stage in Legends as well.
Cool to see Ence embracing the crowd a little bit. I think that's a part of their character that has always been missing, but Sunpius has some fans here in Rio. I think after that 35 kill game on Vertigo yesterday, well, he got even a few new ones too.
The real sun god.
Snappy tries to get aggressive. He's kind of floating here out on an aisle. We saw Exertion tear him up last time. And yet again, that duel definitely going the way of Exertion. And MOUZ gonna try to spam some shots through the wall. Diha returns fire. And Dexter's gonna press in. But the thing is Snappy's not alone here. Madden, he's gonna take the place. Pressed in from Caves. Quick trade perhaps, maybe from Frozen, but seeing as he's already low on health. Ooh, Madden gotta be careful, down to 14 bullets. Utility continues to pressure.
Oh, that's smoke. It doesn't do anything. Actually gives them a one-way if they aggress.
Did it sink into the ground?
Yeah, I think
went through the floor.
Yeah, wow.
It's the mud, you know?
Right.
Caves gets evacuated. CT's gonna press down on ramp instead. I like that. Proactive on the B defense. Could completely catch MOUZ off guard, but they're watching. They're still gonna cost it though. Diha, double kill. Man advantage here for Ence. And MOUZ, the jig is up. The expectations of Ence immediately turning back over to that A site. They were seeing MOUZ's departure. This site has belonged to Ence. And Sunpius, well, he won't be given that chance to cut off Dexter nor the bomb plant. Molotov slips into that little bit of a gap. We saw Ence trying to press into Torzi. This could be his chance to finally really make it round for himself. Heavy temple emphasis for Ence, and that feeds them right into the one exit. The new Ancient. Sunpius, here we go. Torzi, missed shot. JDC slides out. However, he's got himself 2 kills, 3 from A main.
Wow.
JDC, well, that op shot may have missed, but the rifler finds his mark. And now at this point, there's simply no time. A 7th the way of the T side.
Unbelievable rifling from JDC. He was the guy who came onto the team faster than Exertion, where people thought that that was going to be wouldn't make sense, but it did make sense from a role perspective. Well, now he sits beside Exertion, and he shows why he deserved a spot on the roster. Some of his T entries throughout this tournament have been fantastic. This hold in the post plant is ridiculous. Shutting down 3 trades from Ence players, swinging on him from a very favorable angle. That is nothing to scoff at.
That's my face when smokes fall through the floors. Here we go. Off the door. Zoink.
Oh, there's clearly a hole right there, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I see it.
Wow.
It's an Easter egg. JDC, nice rifle play. Picking up the slack for that missed op shot, right? The best case scenario for the post plant. MOUZ, Torzi finds the first, leaves the CT scrambled. With that donut control and bomb in front of it, right? Like, again, MOUZ don't know if there's 0 smokes left. I could see JDC playing that more passive. Could have come out from A main late.
Yeah. They thought, of course, you'll have a smoke in that situation, but no, 4 players, no smokes. And he takes a risk, and he just, I mean, if he gets 2, they still win. If he gets 2, you know, they're still in a good position, but goes above and beyond. Puts his cape on for that.
John De Castro. In with impact, just like that pistol round that kicked off the spree. Remember, 6 of the first 7 were the way of MOUZ. So they've broken back through the trend of CT round wins. Snappy's playing a dangerous game.
Oh my God.
Torzi awaits that long peek. Snappy will get the better of the AWPer. Now, mid, of course, is being challenged. Sometimes it's Exertion. This round, it's JDC. Diha's holding that smoke, or so he was, but attention drawn on both sides. And JDC picks up Valda from the back. Frozen trades it off the lane. So it's just the split from both ends. And kills at a distance. Sunpius pressing into the bomb carrier, tracks Exertion, but Frozen finds himself a 3rd kill in the round, and Dexter looks to lock this in. It's 8, the way of MOUZ.
Huge. I mean, that way they picked apart mid-control, the late attack. I don't really love how Snappy has just been kind of running out of cave. Sometimes getting 1, almost always committing fully. Doesn't seem like just much util support behind it as well, and sometimes failing to trade entirely. But like we take like Yakinder, for example, who will play one of the best players at pushing cave in that position, doing the same level of aggression, but obviously a much better player on an individual level. And right now, I mean, Ence, can they afford to just go down 4v4 when he tries to do that? I'm not sure. When they approached mid as well, they punished Valda for running out of ammo and exposed that 2 players were completely out in the open. It was a very nice crunch with Exertion coming through the smoke on elbow.
This time it's Valda in front of Snappy.
I think it would be one thing for Snappy to commit with a flash and then be able to fall back, but almost every time we've seen that he tries to take a duel, he fights until he dies.
Sunpia's doing this one alone because they add another number to the cave setup. As long as that smoke's there, Sunpias feels confident enough to float around it, but as it's about to fade, he needs to reposition. It's been a consistent either Exertion or JDC play from that elbow. Exertion right back at it, on the hunt. Utility pressure comes out. Valda's still going to remain tucked in, but again, it's Famis. Just the Famis versus Frozen. Oh, easy pickup here inside of the cave. Snappy attempts to get aggressive. He loves pressing that MP9 into unsuspecting terrorists. That's how he pushed Nuke into overtime versus Vitality. It's kind of a bit of his character. Diha going to emerge out from Donut. 25 seconds left. The clock could end up costing MOUZ if Diha could go big. Woo. But Dexter ends him, and that A site wide for the taking. Madden nowhere to be found and cut off even if he tries to get over. So what do you know? MOUZ on the cusp of double digits after this T side.
So many great attacks from MOUZ in this first half. They got to be feeling great.
And varied.
I'm sure they had their own doubts in the veto themselves and just thoughts about picking into a strong map from Ence, but they also know that no matter where they go, it's going to be kind of difficult because they can't grab Inferno in this specific matchup. So they came prepared today, and I mean, there might have been a couple of kills that were like, you could say lucky in the first couple of rifle rounds, but when you look at the entirety of the rounds they've won, they're very detailed strategies, very good spacing, lots of individual highlights with, for example, JDC's spray downs, Frozen winning out against Donut constantly, them taking mid control. So in the grander scheme of things, this scoreline accurately represents how dominant MOUZ's T side has been.
Really feels like Dexter, Cyclone, and the support staff were up late last night. You know, sometimes when you see an odd pick at the start of a veto, kind of makes you nervous. And I think that after, you know, the whole Faze debacle, it kind of would have shied people away.
It's not like that. I mean, it's not even close to that. I think like Vertigo made no sense for Faze. Like MOUZ play a lot of Ancient. It was just about Ence also being kind of strong about it. Vertigo is his own level of ridiculous. Okay, that is just something.
We put it in a different category.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they literally haven't even finished the map yet.
Out of this world. And now out of this event. Yeah, it wouldn't have been a shocker, you know, for this map to pop up. So let's say Ence are also prepared. However, a very successful T side. Variation in strategy. Individuals also finding their home, right? It's crazy that Torzi is 2-6 at the moment, and MOUZ are still winning 9-5. We've got the Riflers popping off. JDC takes his place. Exertion's right there. Frozen at the top. Rifle talent in abundance for this very young roster. Gonna get players climbing up into the ledge. Ooh! Wow. And speaking of rifle talent, Dexter just pops Madden on that boost back B. And MOUZ, they've got no hook in any other position, so you'd assume this half, this very successful half, in fact, is gonna end with the B site split. MP9s for the majority of Ence. The one M4 for Sunpias. Snappy tries to slide out. Sunpias has gone unchecked. He's going to finish off Dexter, but Exertion hits the ground fast enough to recover, and sure enough, follows suit into Valda. Diha with a huge ask in this clutch. Or we've got double digits after the T side of MOUZ's Ancient. Stuck in the corner, pinned to the wall, Torzi puts the cherry on top of a phenomenal offense from MOUZ. absolute trade train all the way to a dominant 10-round T-side on Ancient. That's right, T-side on Ancient, 10 rounds. Who else than MOUZ has pulled that off at this event? It's spectacular and it's impressive, and we've got to give it the credit that it's due, but there is also this question mark around MOUZ's CT sides that, you know, we hold our breath for. Odds very much in their favor, you'd assume, with as much success as they just had on that offense, but we'll let them speak for themselves and try to close this one versus Ence to start our best of three. The last best of three for both these teams, and a quick move from the T side into this A-bomb site. We've got JDC on the fallback. We've got MOUZ with a many pistol win throughout this event, and JDC was the player that put up those numbers in just that first half. So can he get another pistol round under his belt? Exertion will come through. Sunpius chases round those boxes, falls onto Snappy. Deep inside A main, he's dropped by the dual Berettas, and it's an early 11th for the Young Guns.
Yes, and yeah, again, standing to the pistol round stats here, the two big wins, 2 pistols on Ancient, where Ence are very comfortable on their pistol rounds. So well done on the hold. Allowing the bomb plan is one thing. It affects the buy coming into the next round. How many SMGs you'll have outside of that, they don't care. They'll take the win. This is shaping up very well for MOUZ. And again, I think mentally they have to overcome the fact that they lost a great opportunity to get into top 8 yesterday when they played against outsiders. And you know, losing on Inferno, that might lose you a little bit of sleep at night, thinking, okay, we lost that because of pressure, not because we're not good enough. So today, I think they've really shaken it off.
Oof. Ooh. And Frozen gonna make mincemeat of what is the buy-in from Ence. Sunpius, Tech 9 from downtown, gets the trade back.
Yeah, we never talked about Frozen that much because he's always just been on MOUZ and then outshined by players like Rops or other players who have been on the team, but he's overall consistently been just the best player on the roster. More math recorded for him than all 4 of his teammates, including Dexter.
That's so insane.
Coming in at 20 years old. He's been phenomenal throughout. And you know, maybe Frozen's not even in his prime. I mean, he's always burgeoning on the top 20 in terms of his stats, but he is still actually that young. It
also just kind of felt that, you know, without the success of a team around him, that maybe that was kind of stifling him a little bit.
It is, yeah. That's
maybe
the only
he could have
reason
broken out.
If his team was any better and MOUZ weren't constantly kind of like selling off. I mean, they play with Kerrigan, you know,
sure. Yeah.
Robs, Nico. They've had a lot of insane players in their history, but never kind of built a super team. And have always, I think, try to be cash positive in some sense, like making sales here and there, which is a good strategy. But of course, when you get Frozen and Frozen sitting there like, I want some trophies, well, it's been hard for him.
The coolest thing is that MOUZ didn't, you know, build this superstar roster by buying out big contracts. This time it's a completely different formula. MOUZ, they're the organization that put the most emphasis into the Academy League, right? They built this dominating force that was just winning season after season, and it felt as though, you know, they did it long enough. They gave these players experience. They put them into the LAN finals for WePlay, and now look what it nets them. A top 4 at Cologne, a potential playoffs berth at a major, with, again, majority numbers from that NXT roster. It just seems quite wild, you know. The years of experience of Valda and Snappy in comparison, and, you know, this perhaps world-class operant Sunpius. But a bunch of young kids show up. Not all kids, of course, but it's just...
Finish your point.
It's what every young player right now is aspiring to be. The most relatable story that they have in terms of professional Counter-Strike is that of MOUZ. It's inspirational.
And they were locked out of other bigger tournaments because of their main roster, which is kind of what you're saying with the young kids thing. I mean, treated as if they weren't allowed to. Only be juniors. But they were ready for the open sea. They're real sailors now.
Yes, sir.
They're the captain now.
3 rounds away from a win on Ancient. Ooh, good damage here from Exertion. And that's going to prime Dexter with the Galil to just tear the head off Valda. Exertion into the caves. He wins his fight versus Madden point blank. Half his health is gone, but more than half of Ence R2. Torzi in the open, dropped by Diha. Now just at 20 health, and it gets cleaned up by the FAMAS. A spectacular round from MOUZ yet again. Ence can do nothing. You know, they get stifled outside of B. They have no mid control whatsoever. We had Exertion and JDC doing that for MOUZ. This one was far more, you know, one lane out of Ence. And that one lane comes to an abrupt halt. Road closure on the way to the B site.
Yes, they're getting absolutely tossed here in the first map to start the day. You know why? It's because they put the Kiwis out at breakfast today.
Did they?
And it's only every other day.
You know, I didn't believe you.
What?
You told me, have the Kiwis at breakfast, they're delicious. And I've been going down to breakfast at 10:30 every day. There was never any Kiwis.
Interesting.
Turns out it's for the morning folk.
I go at 7.
They don't replace the Kiwis.
They don't replace the Kiwis, man. Those are... But you know who's there early. Look who's dressed like Kiwis right now.
Yeah.
It's MOUZ.
Yeah, a bunch of super fruit.
Yep. It's got all the nutrition you need.
Did you know that 45% of people have an oral allergic reaction to kiwis when they eat them?
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
45%?
Yeah.
Is that why you're so malnutritioned, all of you?
Sorry. It's not my fault.
Is
Fast
it like,
push.
Is it the astringency thing?
Who knows?
Okay.
I think it's the fuzzy fur. That ain't just, that just ain't right.
Yeah, it's the skin. Okay. Well, Valda, he just had a bad day coming out into the open battlefield of mid. Down to 10 health, didn't see anything. Can't report back with any data. Madden right there with him. D-Haw takes his place. And MOUZ, whether they know it or not, unconfirmed damage, but they got what they wanted out of this round. And Frozen is still tucked in a position where I don't think they're willing to molly because they've only got one left. No smokes here. No smokes here. You need smokes on Ancient.
Kind of important.
You need smokes.
Yep, yep. You also sort of need HP.
HP, smokes, 2 key components of Ancient.
And if you squint your eyes at your screen, it feels like Valda and Madden are already dead. Diha, sure enough, is. Torzi primed and ready. Oh, man. There we go. Double kill for Torzi, given a chance to maybe rack up some frags. His riflers have been so on point, so sharp, that this guy prior to this round was sitting at 4 and 8 while winning 14-5.
And see the molly that lands on his feet? Like, that's something MOUZ would not do in the first half. They never messed up a situation like that. That molly would come down as soon as it was to test Torzi to leave in that position, and then they would swing right away. Here they give him a shoulder, then the molly lands late, then the second guy peeks, and he's still comfortable holding for a second because he's already done his job. And that's where it's over. That's what's been so impressive about MOUZ at this tournament and in recent form. Top 7 in the world at the moment, just trying to prove that they can withstand the pressure of a major, and proving it very well right now.
Yeah. So, arguably one of the hardest things to do as a Counter-Strike player. Do it at the major, right? That's what everybody says. Do it at the major. Top 7 rank just seems so odd when you look at MOUZ and their accomplishments and their ages. And hey, playoffs here in Rio would really cement that ranking. So there is no doubt in anybody's mind that MOUZ were prepped and sharp as they jumped into the server this morning. Madden will open up 5v4 for Ence. However, it's just the 2 Galils and Deagle of Diha versus 10 map points. MOUZ, no reason to shy away. Exertion has been dominant from the challenger stages, and certainly here in this one, doing as he damn well pleases. Taking heads off shoulders, ripping limbs from limbs, and stacking those rounds as high as Ence's corpses. Diha, just desperation. He's on the wrong side of the map. He doesn't have the bomb. MOUZ can do whatever the hell they want. And honestly, let's get ready for map 2. Nuke.
Seriously. I wonder if D-Haw believes it right now.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. But Dexter, well, oof, he will fall victim to the Deagle. Maybe one more? Just give us one more. Molotov to block it off. Diha's on the attempt, at least now grabs that M4. It is armored as well. No follow-up from the flashbang, so I do like that Diha did find the one avenue, you know, finds the weaker piece, and has at this point forced MOUZ's members back onto their bomb site. So he creates a situation where the numbers have been thinned out. You know, this went from looking impossible to doable. Ooh, especially as that kill only comes at a cost of 17 health. He knows that Torzi's along the wall. 10 seconds to spare, the pistol.